Welcome to Technology and Education. Today I'm Richard Smith.
And I'm Caroline Crawford, and we are coming to you from the University of Houston Clear Lake in Houston, Texas, USA!
And today the discussion is about MOOCs and how MOOCs are affecting universities and community colleges. Caroline, what's the scoop on MOOCs?
What's the scoop?
What's the scoop on MOOCs?
They're growing by leaps and bounds. It's the latest little technological innovation that people are grabbing onto.
Okay, massive open online courses. How on earth does this serve a university or a community college or a four-year college?
Well, that depends. For example, the undergraduate courses that you have thousands of people who want to join into, right? Mm-hmm. If you have a face-to-face class or an online class, there's only a certain amount of people who can actually enroll.
In a face-to-face class.
In a face-to-face class, and potentially within an online class as well. But if you open it up to a massive open online course environment, you have the video capabilities and everyone knows what the assignments and syllabus and all that good stuff are. It can open up the realm to not only significantly more tuition and student bodies focusing upon the course environment, but also if you're interested in the more global aspect, it's an opportunity for professional development for a significantly larger number of people
but
for whom most people couldn't.
It's supposed to be an open course, which means no tuition.
Right.
So,
but there are different models, like for example, people who are interested in gaining credit for it may pay tuition at the very beginning to be a part of the MOOC. Some people after the fact may submit their articles, deliverables from the course for review and consideration and the tuition money as well. So after the fact, they potentially could get credit for the course, or it may just be CEU credits, credits for professional development opportunity. Or maybe nothing at all. It's just,
okay,
hey, you want to join in and get some knowledge? That's great.
I see. Yes, that part I can understand. But because I see some problems with the other parts, the other way of implementing this. For instance, let's say the MOOC is created by a professor who allows his course to be, in essence, video. That's the driving force.
Primary force behind it. Yeah.
Behind the MOOC. I'm not saying this happens all the time, but it's a possibility. And I'm in the class face to face. I'm required to answer questions. I'm perhaps required to get into groups and do group works. I'm certainly required to send in, submit papers that I've written and have those papers graded. I will take tests. Traditional education hasn't changed that much. The tests will be graded by the professor. If I have 90,000 students who are taking this class as part of a MOOC, how is their work evaluated? Do they get the same course credit, let's say if they pay tuition, as somebody who has sat in that course and also has met the entrance requirements of that college or university that's offering the MOOC?
That's a very good question. That's also the exact same discussion that's occurring between traditional face-to-face courses and online courses within learning management systems. What's the difference? What's the qualitative difference? What is the quality difference between the traditional face-to-face and the online courses? Is there one?
Well, you know what, the key difference is that, and you and I teach these online courses, in an online course for a university, which gives you the same credit as a face-to-face course, there's a limit to the number of students that are enrolled in that course.
There should be a limit.
There should be.
To the number, just like in a face-to-face class. There should be a limit.
So, and the students in that course are required to do papers, do group work, and
meet learning objectives,
engage in discussions all within that course management system. However, once you move up in scale, you go to a MOOC where you could have 30, 40, 50, 100, 200,000 students. All of a sudden, those checks on the quality of the students' understanding of what is being in the course become very, very difficult to
Well, it depends on what kind of checks you're talking about. If you're talking about
the traditional checks.
If you're talking about just a silly little quiz like you can do on a Scantron in a face-to-face environment versus an online course in a learning management system, which is graded within by however it's been set up. If that's what we're talking about, basic knowledge level, then yeah, that's doable. But aren't you paying for more than just basic knowledge level?
In a traditional course, that would be one part of the course, and you would also have your term paper, you would have your class participation, and so on and so forth. Those are the things that cannot really be easily emulated in a MOOC unless you have some very sophisticated program that can check the quality of a student's term paper that's submitted or anything else.
I imagine that a MOOC environment can be just as viable an environment in which to learn as a traditional face-to-face or an online course within a learning management system or something. I imagine the capability is there. However, the implementation and the instructional design components of a MOOC are where, just like when e-learning was starting up within a learning management system, that's where the rubber meets the road, and those are the issues that I constantly, no matter what environment we're talking about, what digital environment we're talking about, those are the issues that I constantly see cropping up. The quality of the instructional design, the quality of the instructional matter, and the quality of the interactive activities within that environment, which I don't see occurring yet in the MOOCs, yet.
Those are instructional design issues, but for the
and instructional issues as well.
For the credit, to earn credit in a MOOC, which is the equivalent college credit. Currently, right now, and in foreseeable future, how is the quality of the student's understanding of the content being taught determined? How can that be?
But you know, these are the same discussions that we held when e-learning was taken off.
Right, but in e-learning, in a class in e-learning for a university, you can put a limit on the number of students. So if the students submit a term paper, the professor still can evaluate that term paper. You can still have discussions which the professor can participate in with all the students, and you can still have group work which the professor can monitor.
But you're you're making several assumptions there.
Well, no, the only assumption I'm making is that with a MOOC,
the instructor is engaged with the learners, and there are expectations beyond a Scantron exam.
But with a MOOC,
which is significant,
with a
assumption.
MOOC, let's say I have those standards as the best of all possible worlds. Emulating that in a MOOC with so many students becomes very, very problematic. So that right now, I don't see granting of college credit for participating in a MOOC. I see rather a certification process where you get a credit for participating in the course, having completed the course, but that the certificate that you earn is not at the same level as having participated in a full college class.
Well, unless you start having, much like a large lecture hall that many of the larger universities have, where you have an instructor that stands up and speaks, and then the TAs basically take care of the students, deal with the students. You have a brilliant person spouting whatever it is, the subject matter is, and they wander off, and then the TAs take over, which may be a model that the MOOCs take over as well. I don't have an opinion on MOOCs right now, other than it's exactly the same discussions that we had when online learning began over a decade ago. Same exact things are going on, same exact concerns. It's going to take over. We don't need the professors anymore. Look at the quality. The quality is so poor. I'm like, really? How do you know the quality, comparatively speaking, to a traditional face-to-face is so poor? Because you don't know what goes on in a face-to-face environment, other than the course syllabus.
Actually, we have a situation in for-profit universities where they don't hire tenured faculty anymore. So part of what you're saying has actually come true.
Well, okay, we're again talking about the quality of the instructor.
And we're going to have to talk about the rest of this another time, because we have reached the end of another issue of technology and education today. I'm Richard Smith.
And I'm Caroline Crawford, and we are coming to you from the University of Houston Clear Lake in Houston, Texas, USA. Bye!